Welcome back to Let's Talk Clarity, the podcast where we dive into the mental health and well-being topics that matter, the stigmas, the taboos, the unspoken things that impact our overall well-being. I'm Zeenat Noorani, the Clarity Coach and co-founder and director of the Let's Talk Better CIC. I help children, young people and parents to navigate life's challenges with confidence and clarity. Now today we are talking about a parenting style that sparks both admiration and controversy, tiger parenting. Personally, I'm not sure about the terminology tiger parenting, so what do you think? Share your comments about that word and what is tiger parenting to you and what does that mean? But this topic does bring up some interesting debates. You might have heard the term of Amy Chua's memory, Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother, which described strict discipline, endless music practice, high academic expectations. Some parents see this as the secret to success, whilst others view it as too harsh and emotionally damaging. But here's a key question that I want to ask you. How do we raise ambitious, resilient children without crushing their mental well-being in the process? So by the end of this episode, I want to have touched on these various aspects of tiger parenting, to have a clear understanding of what tiger parenting is and why it is so common, the psychological and emotional impact it can have on children, and the long-term issues as well. Reflection questions to examine your own parenting styles. And of course, practical tips to set those high expectations while nurturing a healthy, supportive family environment. Now, before we unpack this complex topic together, I want to let you know that there will be some coaching moments of reflection in today's podcast. And if it's convenient for you and you are in a safe space, then please, you may want to pause the podcast for a moment to carry out these moments of reflection. Please do not carry out any of these exercises if you are driving or operating any heavy or dangerous equipment. Let's dive into what is tiger parenting. Some definitions here. The tiger parenting term was popularized in 2011 by Amy Chua's Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother. Very much associated with East Asian culture, but observed worldwide in a highly competitive societies. Academic excellence, elite extracurricular activities, discipline and sacrifice for the future. So some of the core characteristics around tiger parenting are things such as strict rules, limited freedom, high academic expectations, which I've mentioned, especially in the STEM subjects and the language arts. Also prioritizing activities that enhance university prospects, music, debate, sports. Viewing leisure or unproductive time as a missed opportunity for improvement. The question here is, why do parents adopt this style? For one, it can be the influence of cultural values. So education as a path to security and upward mobility. Competitive academic environments. University admissions are increasingly selective. Therefore, parents have higher expectations of where they want their children to attend, what universities, the best of the best. Of course, we want our children to go to the best of the best, but is it always the right path? And thinking about those expectations that we set. So that may lead to adopting the style of tiger parenting. Fear of falling behind their peers. Love and protection. Parents believe they're giving their children the best chance at life. Of course, there are the cultural roots and the intergenerational influences. So to understand tiger parenting, we also have to look at where these patterns come from. Often, it is not just about wanting our children to succeed. It's more than that. It's about the beliefs we have, the beliefs we've inherited from our own parents and the cultural traditions that have shaped us. In many Asian countries, such as Asian, African, immigrant communities, academic success equals survival and respect. Historically, education was seen as the key to escaping poverty or discrimination. Parents may feel immense family pride, of course, or it may be shame tied down to their child's performance. Tradition often emphasizes collective success over individuals' happiness. Children's achievement reflect on the whole family. So when we think about the intergenerational upbringing, many tiger parents were raised by strict parents themselves. Values like discipline and sacrifice were praised. Emotions were often suppressed. This can lead to unconscious repetition. This worked for me, so I'll do the same for my child, even if the times have changed, and times have changed. So some things do not work as well as they did when we were young and we were their age. So we have to see how life is evolving, what has changed. Without reflection, these beliefs may pass down generation to generation to generation, even if harmful. And of course, sometimes as parents, we don't realize that because we're in the moment and we think we're doing the right thing and it's not going to be harmful because we're doing things right now, thinking about the future, but we have to look beyond that and the impact. And that goes back to how have times changed. So there is mental health dangers of passing this on to our younger generation. Children raised under intense pressure may internalize confident self-worth. I am only loved when I succeed. This can lead to cycles of perfectionism, anxiety, depression, burnout, and so much more. And they may parent in the future their own children the same way. Again, it's that generation after generation. Over time, emotional needs get deprioritized, creating family disconnection and resentment. And that can last into adulthood. So now I'm just going to share a reflection exercise, a parenting coaching moment. So remember, if you wish to pause the button now after you've heard the exercise and take a moment. Of course, you can always go back to the podcast later. I want you to think about your own upbringing. What message did you hear about success and failure growing up? Which of those beliefs help you today, and which might be harming your relationship with your child, or perhaps in the workplace with your work colleagues? Jot down one belief you'd like to break the cycle on for the next generation. And when you've written that down, have a look at it and think about how you are going to break that cycle. Are we raising children for their dreams or to heal the dreams we never fulfilled. Now let's look at some global context and data. And before I share this, I just wanted to say that I have seen some of the impact that tiger parenting can have on children during my years of teaching in primary schools, the pressures that they had of performance from a very, very young age. And I'm talking from the age of 7-year-olds, some 6-year-olds actually, but generally 7, 8-year-olds, where the expectations that were set by their parents was so extreme that it was impacting the rest of their education. And actually where they could perform and do really well, they weren't, because of those pressures, the fear of failing and not succeeding. A research survey in 2022 done by Pew, that's P-E-W, found that 61% of Asian American parents and 45% of UK immigrant parents strongly prioritise academic achievements over the measures of success. In China, South Korea and Singapore, students often average 12 plus hours of study per day, with mental health consequences widely reported. Now that is crazy. 12 hours of study per day. When you think about your hopes for your child, are they rooted in your child's happiness or in the fear of them not making it? Here's another reflection, a coaching moment. Pause and reflect, thinking back to your own childhood. How did your parents measure success? Grades, effort, happiness? Write down one expectation you had growing up that shaped how you see achievement today. Right, let's dive into the pressures and the impact. So here's a scenario. Imagine your child brings home a B+. Instead of celebrating effort, you say, why isn't it an A or an A+? That comment may seem small, but repeated messages like this can shape how your children define their self-worth. And a B+ is really good. And think about, why is it that you want them to have that A or that A+ or the A star? So research-based evidence in terms of psychological effects. So achievement versus self-worth. Kids learn, I'm only lovable when I succeed. Perfectionism and fear of failure associated with higher rates of anxiety and depression. And that information was taken from the APA 2021. Sleep and stress. High pressure environments linked to chronic stress responses. Cortisol levels remain elevated, affecting children's sleep, immunity and focus. Parent-child relationships become strained. Constant conflict over grades or activities weakens that trust and that communication that you may have with your child. I want to share some examples, some study examples as well. So the University of California, 2018, teens from high-pressure academic environments reported twice the national average of anxiety and depression symptoms. Harvard Graduate Schools of Education in 2020, children who perceive parental love as a conditional perform well short-term, but are more likely to burn out when they get to college. So what we need is balanced perspective. And there are benefits in this by having a balanced perspective. Structured routines and high expectations can foster discipline and persistence. Children often achieve remarkable skills, music, academics, sports, earlier than their peers. But success comes at a cost. If emotional support is missing, the nurturing process. And nurturing doesn't weaken a child, it strengthens them even more because they build that emotional resilience, that emotional intelligence. Think about this. When my child fails, do I comfort them or critique them first? Do my expectations that I have for my child motivate them or make them anxious? So let's dive into another reflection coaching moment. I want you to ask yourself, when my child struggles or fails, do I first offer comfort or correction? What message do they hear most from me? I'm proud of you for who you are, or I'm proud of what you achieve or have achieved. Think about the language. Jot down one sentence you want your child to hear from you after a tough day. Strategies for parents. We want to find the balance in this. High standards are not the problem. They are absolutely not the problem. But lack of emotional balance is. You can aim high, absolutely. But at the same time, nurture mental health. Nurture their mental health. And this is how you can do that, to redefine success. Move beyond the grades, the results, the elite university acceptance. Ask yourself, do I want my child to be accomplished or fulfilled? Introduce the concept of multiple intelligence. Multiple intelligence is something that Howard Gardner talks about a lot. So do look into his work, Howard Gardner, Multiple Intelligence, which is success can be creative, social, athletic, and emotional. So think about shifting from control to collaboration. Involve children in the decision making. For example, you might want to say, what's a reasonable study schedule that works for you? How would you like to go about this? Think about those collaborative goal settings, such as, what do you want to achieve? How can I help you get there or achieve that goal? It's all about teaching ownership, not obedience. Accountability and ownership, not obedience. Integrate mental health practices, and don't be afraid of that. And if you're unsure of how to do that, seek professional advice and support. So it begins by normalizing talking about stress. So ask, how are you feeling about school today? How are you feeling about the work you've done, the tests, the workload that you have? Introduce coping skills like breathing exercises, journaling, creative art activities, mindfulness breaks. Model self-care. Be the role model. Show them rest is productive and it's not a waste of time. How many times have we heard the things, oh, you're just sitting there, you're not doing anything. Come on, be productive, get on with it. You're wasting time. Don't waste your life away. No, think about how just having that moment of rest can be very productive for our mental health and well-being. Create emotional safety And you can do this by reminding your children, I love you for who you are and not what you achieve. Celebrate the efforts, not just the outcome. Make space for fun and downtime. Unstructured play boosts creativity and resilience. So what I'd like you to think about is some of these instant strategies as parents that you can try today, tonight. Here we go. Number 1 is family check-in. 5-minute evening chat about highs and lows of the day. 2, gratitude practice. Share one thing you appreciate about each other daily. 3, screen-free quality time. Cook, walk, or play a game together weekly. No school talk. And 4, success board, which means celebrate non-academic wins, kindness, teamwork, courage, bravery, resilience, whatever that might be. So let's dive into another coaching moment of reflection. Think about your daily routine. Where is there space for connection? Could you add a 5-minute bedtime chat or a weekly family walk? Now write down one small ritual you will start this week to connect beyond academics. Balance out achievement and autonomy. Offer structured freedom. You can choose when to study, but not if you study. So you can choose when to study, but not if you study. Let them pursue passion, even if they don't look good or they're not great at it. On a college application, for example, let them continue to pursue something they love and they enjoy doing. Encourage curiosity. Never stop them from being curious. For some reason, curiosity and self-discovery gets diminished as we get older and older. And I'm not sure why that is happening. Well, perhaps it's because of time, or we just need to get on with things because other things are happening. No, encourage curiosity and self-discovery alongside their academics and beyond in their life, their future. Take a moment. Are your expectations more about your dreams or your child's interests? Write down one thing your child loves that has nothing to do with academics. How can you nurture it? So take a moment to reflect on that. Whose expectations are they? Your dreams or your child's interests? How are you going to nurture one thing that your child loves doing? Here's the bottom line. Tiger parenting isn't inherently bad. It comes from love and desire to give children the best in life. But when ambitions overshadow emotional connection, children may achieve success without joy. High expectations are healthy when they are paired with unconditional support and love, the nurturing. So ask yourself, am I raising a child who succeeds or a child who thrives? The challenge and the opportunity is to raise children who are not just high achievers, but are happy, resilient, and confident in who they are, and can face challenges that are there in front of them with strength and confidence, and can also overcome adversity. If you're reflecting on your parenting style and want support in creating balance, I work with children and families to help build communication, reduce stress, and nurture emotional well-being alongside achievement. You can connect with me through my website, theclaritycoach.co.uk, or through any of my social media links for a consultation on the coaching resources or the workshops that I have available. So please do reach out to me. Next episode teaser, here we come. In my next episode of Let's Talk Clarity, we'll be exploring Sybil rivalry and mental well-being, why it happens and how it impacts development, and practical ways to turn competition between your siblings into connection. So do follow, share and subscribe to keep up to date with all my podcasts and information. Thank you for listening to the Let's Talk Clarity. And remember, clarity creates confidence. See you.